Most people, when they decide they're going to learn a new language, pick up a textbook and they begin to study and try to get an idea of how their target language works by getting a basic feel for the structure of the language and the patterns and all that sort of thing. And so they study, and then they reach a certain level and they're feeling all right. They're feeling like they're making some progress. And they think, okay, I want to go farther. What do I have to do? I'll take another textbook and I'll get another level. I'll work my way up and I'll do more exercises and I'll work my way through more chapters and maybe get a textbook that's a little more detailed or a little more advanced. But there comes a point where studying just doesn't produce any results anymore. You can study all day and all night and your language skill, your proficiency level, will not improve at all. What do you do then? Let's talk about it. Sometimes people say, I would like to learn another language. And I say, I don't believe you. You don't want to learn another language. You'd like to be able to wake up tomorrow morning and speak another language without having to do any work. But that's not how this whole process works. It does take some study. And especially at the beginning levels, one of the greatest ways to get started in a new language is get yourself a good course, a textbook, maybe with some CDs in the back of the book that give you an idea of how the language sounds, and get the basics down. Understand the essential patterns of your target language, and you'll be off. You'll reach a certain level with that. But there comes a point where studying doesn't pay off anymore. And I've learned this in a kind of a painful way. And I love studying. I mean, you can see that I have thousands of language books behind me, and there's thousands more in my home. So I enjoy the process of studying, but at some point, studying doesn't produce greater proficiency. Studying will take you so far, and then it just stops working. It will move you forward and move you forward, and then you think, well, if I want to go farther than this, then probably what I have to do is study longer, study harder, study more advanced stuff. It's not really true. Something else has to happen. Some people say that if you want to speak a new language at a higher level of proficiency, you have to take personal responsibility for your success. I'm not going to do that. I blame my friend Jean-Noel for the quality of my French. Buddy, if you're watching, I hold you responsible. I have done the study. I have learned all the irregular verbs. I've done all the exercises. I've worked through multiple textbooks. Now I need to speak, and I need to speak with a native speaker. So it's up to you, my friend. You are responsible for my results from here on in. In reality, there comes a point where studying won't help you anymore. You can't study your way to higher levels of proficiency. You're going to have to use your target language. And there's no more input is going to pay off anymore. Input is wonderful at the beginning. It's a very good idea. You want to have something going into you. I like the way Steve Kaufman describes it sometimes. I've heard him talk about, he uses input for a very long time, actually much longer than I would prefer to do it. And he does a lot of input. He takes in the language for a significant amount of time. And then he talks about activating the language that he has been pouring into his own brain. And sometimes he travels overseas and he gets in the target language community, and then all the stuff that he's been storing up, all the study that he's done, and all the input, he has his own strategy for it. You should check it out, by the way. Link, LINGQ. That's his program. It's great. Anyhow, he talks about activating the language, and I think that might be a great way of describing it. Studying does not activate the language. Studying gets you the raw materials inside your head, gives you an idea of what you're going to have to do when you start using the language. But the only thing that produces spoken proficiency is speaking. That's the only way. There is no other way. You're going to have to open your mouth and face the consequences. And I'm glad that I did that with Spanish. I just faced the music and I thought, you know what? I'm going to have to speak Spanish like Tarzan, the king of the jungle, and I'm going to speak terrible Spanish with no verb endings. I remember I spoke Spanish for many years without using the past tense or the future or anything. Everything was in the present tense, and I would just put in words like yesterday and tomorrow and next year in there so that people know what I was talking about. If you will not speak your target language badly, you will never speak it well. You're going to have to do it. No other way. You can't study your way to proficiency. You're going to have to use your target language. I hope that's interesting for you and enjoyable, and I hope you learn a thing or two. And I'll talk to you again in the next video. Bye for now.